Okay, this is Sunday morning. Bless you, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm back again. So today is another glorious day, and we're happy to welcome you back. Welcome you back to receive the word of God, word of wisdom. It will be a joy to have you all before you go to church, maybe on your way to church, or if you're in America, on your way to bed. So if you are there, will you please write something and let us know who is there? Let's welcome you. Tell us where you are watching us from. Maybe you could write us what time it is in your place. I've not seen anyone. At least I have 35 people there, but no one has written yet. Fleur from Paris. Fleur Karen Matip, blessings. Shegun Fatumo, you are very constant. Hello, Faith from Calgary, Alberta. Prince from Dallas, blessings to you. Wow, Maria Martinez, you are so regular. Daniel Carey, blessings. Wow, we have some regular birds here. Rana from New Zealand, amazing. Nira from Toronto, Canada, blessings. Adetumbi, I didn't think she tells me where she's writing from, or Adetumbi didn't say where he's writing from. But Michael Oyekashi from Istanbul. Mono is not telling us. From San Antonio, Texas. Yeah. Charles in London. Wow, Nkiru is here. I told you that once Nkiru gets going, no, she is going to be very consistent. Victor Ogundikwe, blessings to you. Gloria from Paris, blessings to you. Tyra too is here, Ojibadu. Wow, the whole family, I guess. Because yesterday I got from Pastor Obi as well. Jose from Mexico, brilliant. Joel from Sweden, wow. Patience from Accra, wow, blessings. Regina, I don't know where Regina is writing from. Godwin Lawrence from New York. Natalia Valentino from Seattle, USA. Daniel. Emmanuel Adewale. Yeah, Nkiru is telling us to begin to share. I forgot about that. Yes, let's begin to share. Please go ahead and press the share button before we begin. While I'm still welcoming all of you, please go ahead and share the message. Let's share the link because somebody is going to be blessed today. Abba is writing from Nigeria. Abba Ame Sunday. Oyebanji from Abuja. Madi Buro from Tasmania, brilliant. That's near Australia there. And yes, from Malaysia, I can't read the name. Shelley from Canada. Oh, Pastor Lydia Oloruniwo, blessings. Yeah, she's also reminding you to share. So let's go ahead and share the message before we begin full time. Adebayo is already shared, he says. So if you are using mobile device, you might need to go back to your front page or to your timeline. Go back to your timeline and press the share button, okay? And then you just stop listening to me for 1 second, then you could be back. Anointing Amen is from Cotonou, Benin. Wow, Cotonou. Okay, Babatunde is writing us from Elisha. Amazing. From Elisha. Olajumoke from the UK. Wow. Lola Shorunke said she has shared already. Patience said she has shared also. Gift, good morning. James from Tulsa, Oklahoma, blessings. Nelson, blessings. Almibo Jimmy, That's from the US. Adewale, blessings, good morning. Yeah, most of you have shared already. That's beautiful to see. Brian from California, good morning. Well, as you are coming in, go ahead and press your share button. Let's share and invite as many people as possible. Sam, where is Sam? Sam calling from. Oh, okay, he's not writing where he's writing from. Becky from Pittsburgh. Ewa from England, I'm sure. And Esther from Abuja. Wow, brilliant. Elvis from Columbus, Ohio. Hans Meyer from the Netherlands. And Faith is telling us that he has shared the link already. So go ahead and share the link and we'll be ready to go. Omole is, he didn't say where from. Let's see where. Montilla from Italy. Montilla from Italy. Daniel Timas from Timers Hard. Wow, I don't know where that is. John Christmas is from British Columbia. Becky Lynn from the US. Sam Oladeji from Lagos. Of course, Ladishorunke from California. Ewa from London. Now, it's time to go. Oop, someone is trying to advertise. Something here. I'm sorry, this is not for advertisement. So Samuel Obiora, I'm going to block you. I'm sorry, you are coming here to advertise your money making business. No, we don't need that now. I'm sorry. You caused it. You made that happen. Sorry, I just have to let you go. Daddy Daniels from Namibia. Blessings to you. Okay, Neki Okoro from London. Blessings. Well, nice to hear from all of you, and I'm ready to start. So again, let me just remind you where we started from at the beginning of the week. The beginning of this week, we spoke about. Actually, that's the title of the whole week. It's called Life is a School. So Life is a School is the topic of this week, and we have spoken about different aspects of that. And today is the final day of this topic, and the topic of today that I want to talk about is learn how to shut the mouth of your critics. Learn how to shut the mouth of your critics. You must learn how to silence your critics. That's what they say. Learn how to silence critics. Learn how to silence them. You know, either we like it or not, it doesn't matter what you do. You are going to have critics. It doesn't matter if you do anything, you are going to be criticized. If you don't do anything, you are going to be criticized. But especially when you want to change your world, especially when you want to be a history maker, believe me, you know, I used to be just a pastor, but a successful pastor, but just a pastor. When I had not started to try to change the country that I live in, when I was not dealing with all the problems of the society, you know, the national transformation issue, when I was not trying to change politics, media, and all sphere of influence, you know, I lived a relatively peaceful life. But once I began to dream big, because I found out that, you know, I'm not interested just being a pastor of 1,000 people church or 2,000 people church and just, you know, have a few thousand people coming to you and then you are teaching them every Sunday and you are being the hero, everybody clapping to you or for you. I'm not interested in that. And so I needed to affect the whole country. I needed to change the whole culture. I needed to transform the whole society. That was my goal. And I was, I started looking for a way to do that, and God started helping me. So once I began to, attack the principalities and powers of the city, of the country, once I don't just do that in prayers, once I begin to do that in real life, and I begin to expose the enemy, and I begin to really, bring God's influence, kingdom influence to every sphere of life, to every sphere of life, the whole of hell just broke loose. So you have critics come against you, but the critics that come against you from the society is not a big deal. But sometimes even people in your team, even your brothers and sisters will be the ones that will come against you and criticize you in a big way. And you don't just criticize you. I have found out that criticism is actually good. Criticism could fuel you and make you to go forward even faster. But apart from criticism, there is something that could be worse than criticism. What I've discovered that is worse than criticism is false accusation. False accusation. In fact, I'm going to write a book about that one day. False accusation is a big deal. When people criticize you, they might be wrong or they might be right. But when people accuse you wrongly, it means that many people actually believe that, and most people who accuse you actually believe it too. So when you are criticized, somebody could say, well, it's my own opinion. That's what I think. But when you are being accused falsely, they actually believe in what they're doing. But today, what we're talking about is criticism. How do you deal with criticism? But this is not a message on how to deal with criticism, but how to shut the critic's mouth, how to silence the critics, how to force them to become quiet. Because many people don't know what to do with critics most of the time. Many people just don't know how to silence them. Many people just don't know what to do with them. And in most cases, unfortunately, when people are being criticized or horrible things are being said about them, what they do is that they go into depression. No, that's not the best response. Depression is not going to help you. It's going to make things worse. So when people criticize you, when people attack you, when you have opposition from every angle, you know what you are supposed to do? Well, that's what I want to talk to you today about. I want to tell you how to silence your critics. I want to tell you how to shut your critics' mouth. Instead of you going to depression, instead of you going to the mood of withdrawal, because a lot of people too, apart from going to depression, when people begin to criticize them and attack them, they just go underground. They become like ostriches. They just go and hide their head under some sounds. But that's not what you are supposed to do. That's also not the way out when people come against you and they begin to criticize you. So what do you do? How do you deal with people's criticism? But most importantly, how do you silence them? How do you shut their mouth up? And the best way to shut up the mouth of your critics is by producing fruits. This will look so simple, but it's profound and it works. The best way to shut your critic's mouth is to produce fruits. Or let me say it in a different way. The best way to shut your critic's mouth is by producing results. Or another way we could say it, the result is the best way to shut the critic's mouth. Fruit is the best way to silence your critics. Or let me say it in a more modern way. Success is the variable way to shut your critic's mouth. Produce fruits, produce results, become successful. Nobody will say anything against you anymore. I remember that I was talking to a man of God, to a pastor from London the other day, and he was telling me about one great man of God from Nigeria, Pastor Bishop Oyedepo. And they were telling me that he has been criticized of everything in this world, and that everybody just come against him. I heard that there was a time another preacher went and took his Bible, his books, and went on television to criticize it and to tear that book, into pieces. And, it's been criticized on different fronts, on many things, and attacked, or publicly or openly. I heard that this bishop will just be quiet and begin to even work harder than he used to work. He will build another university. or he will go and build another church building. He will just go and begin to produce results until everybody that he was producing so much result, until all the people that were criticizing him, they were not even doing 10% of what he was doing. They were not producing 10% of his results. So as a result, everybody just, they just began to mind their business. Result is the best way to silence your critic's mouth. Results is the best way to silence the mouth of your critics. Now, there is another man of God that people were talking about. People, is a father in the land, Pastor Adeboye, and people are saying, "Oh, people have attacked him also and accused him of different things." And and the thing that Pastor Adeboye will do is just keep on, gathering more crowd. Just keep on gathering more. What is the problem with the voice? Somebody said the voice kept on going off. So if you want to criticize Pastor Adeboye right now, and most people would like to talk rather about the result that he's got, rather than nobody will try to listen to the criticism. Why? Because it's producing results. So if you are, you are not gathering 1 million people, who are you to criticize somebody who is gathering 10 million people? So result is the best way to silence the mouth of your critics. The result is the best way to silence the mouth of your critics. So if you want to make your critics shut up, begin to produce results. So in that way, one of the best ways one of the best things that criticism could do for you is that it should propel you and push you forward to even work more. So criticism should be helping you, really. Criticism should be pushing you forward. Criticism should be a propeller, a fuel for you to be able to even do more than you have done before now. So through people's criticism, you can produce more results. Through people's criticism, you can know, well, it's time to work harder. So criticism is a way for you to even pursue more results, to become more focused, and to go for more fruits in the area of your engagement. So the best way, the most important way for you to silence the mouth of your critics is by producing more results. By producing more results. Okay? I like the way Jesus did that. And, I like the way Jesus did that. What Jesus did was that, I don't know if you people remember this story. Jesus and the relationship between Jesus and John the Baptist was, kind of, at first, John the Baptist came to Jesus, recognized the star and the calling upon him, and came and worshipped him, and came and honored him, and recognized him as the Son of God, as he that is to come, and whose shoe is not able to untie. But then on the other hand, when he began to go through some hard time in ministry, when he was already arrested and he was about to be beheaded, and John the Baptist began to doubt that if this is the Messiah in the real sense, if this is the one that is to come, how come he's not using the power of God to deliver me from the hand of Herod? How is come he's not, using his power and authority to ask God to set me free? How come nothing is happening? So circumstances sometimes make us to doubt. And not just us, circumstances make people to doubt us. So that's what happened with Jesus and John the Baptist. So John the Baptist actually began to doubt the authenticity of Jesus and his calling as the Messiah, as the one that is to come. So one day, John the Baptist decided to send some of his disciples to Jesus to ask him if Jesus is really the one to come or not. So Jesus, responded in a very brilliant way, which goes ahead to affirm this truth and this principle that I'm talking about today. Jesus just said, okay, go and tell. Jesus didn't begin to go into some theological arguments. Jesus didn't begin to say, oh, well, I will send the angels to confirm that I am the one. He didn't begin to say, oh, God will send some lightning or some signs and wonders from heaven to confirm that I am the one. Jesus just said, no problem. You have the right to doubt me, but go and tell him of the results that I produce. Go and tell him of what is happening in my ministry. So he told them, go tell John the Baptist what you have seen, the results that you have seen. And the result that you have seen is that, people's eyes get opened, people ears get opened, the lame begin to walk, and the dead are raised back to life. So somebody is advising us that if you don't have your sound, please click on the video for you to get the sound. That is what the Treasure has just written. If you are having problem with the sound, click on the video, or somebody else says you just have to close window and open again, and sound might be back in your end. That is what Brian said. Because some people are hearing the sound. So if you are not hearing the sound, either you click on the video or you put it off and put it on again. So anyway, so the sound is not from my end, it could be from your end. Well, what I'm saying is that when they doubted Jesus's authenticity, when they doubted Jesus's ministry, and when the criticism of Jesus' ministry came, he did the only thing to do, and the only thing to do is to use his results to silence the mouth of his opposition. He did the only right thing to do, and the only right thing to do is to use his fruits, his success story, to silence the mouth of his doubters. So you have people criticizing you? No problem. They have the right to criticize, but you also have the right to silence their mouth. And the best way for you to silence their mouth is for you to produce more results. Produce more results, go for more success, produce more fruits. As you are producing more fruits, they let people criticizing you more. The more they criticize you, the more fruits you produce. We'll keep on rolling more fruits. Keep on rolling more results out. Roll them out. Roll out more results. Roll out more fruits. The more fruits you are having, the more difficult it is for your critics or for your enemies to keep on criticizing you. It's just impossible, because your results are affirming you the more. Your results are lifting you up the more, and your results are making more converts for you than critics. So the best way to silence your critics, the best way to shut your critics and your doubters' mouth is to keep on producing results. So go to work. Each time you have people criticizing you, it's a sign for you that you must work harder. You must produce more results. It means more results are needed. More results should be produced. And that's what Jesus said. And maybe you have good results, but maybe they are not visible enough. Because in the case of Jesus, John the Baptist was in the prison. So he couldn't see the results over there because he was in prison. And maybe not many people were telling him of what was really happening in the life of Jesus, in the ministry of Jesus. So what Jesus did is that go tell him. Sometimes we need to publicize our results. Don't just allow Satan to publicize all the bad news about you. Don't just give Satan the allowance and the superiority to go ahead and be the publisher of what is happening to you, of his own bad news about you. Don't just give the enemy or the doubters the authority to be the ones carrying the information that they want against you. Release your own news carriers as well. Release your own publication as well. Release your own news tender also. And so that's what Jesus did. Jesus began to send back news carriers and, information carriers to John the Baptist. So sometimes it's not because you don't have the results, but it's because you are not publishing your own news. You are not publishing your own news. So begin to publish the news of what God is doing. Not just allow Satan to publish what Satan is doing. Begin to publicize your own results. Begin to publicize of what God is doing. Satan will always be, do his own work. You cannot stop Satan from saying whatever he wants to say, or his agents from publishing the bad news against you that they want to publish. But you also have your own freedom. You also have your own mouth, and you have people around you that you could use to publish what God is doing, to publish the good news, instead of you just listening and be crying that, oh, Satan is publishing all this bad news about me. Get busy as well. Get busy to publish good news about yourself. Get busy to begin to tell people what God has done. Get busy to get your results out there. Get busy to get your fruits out there. And that's what Jesus said as well in another passage of the Bible. Jesus said, by their fruits you will know them. But if people don't see your fruits, they will not be able to acknowledge who you are. They will not be able to know who you are. Jesus says it is the fruit that speaks more about you. And we see that in the Bible most of the time. Do you remember Joseph? Joseph, they call him Joseph the dreamer. And Joseph was always dreaming, right, about the great things he was going to become. But when you are on the level of dreaming, his brothers were doubters because he was just dreaming. His brothers didn't believe him. They didn't follow him. They didn't believe that he was special. They didn't believe that he was different from them because they have not seen the fruit. They have only seen the garment, the cloth of many colors that the father gave to them. But that cloth of many colors, that is not his fruits yet. That is not his own result. That is not what he has produced. So the things that other people give to you and the things that other people do to you, like what, even the anointing that God has given to you does not give you the authority yet. People will not respect the anointing until you use the anointing to produce results. So the cloth of many colors in the life of Joseph is like the anointing. It's like the calling that God has given to him. It's like the authority that God has given to him through his father. But that authority and that fruit, or no, not a fruit actually, that anointing, that calling, that favor that his father gave to him did not give him authority, did not give him much respect with his brothers. So the only thing that eventually convinced the brothers of Joseph to submit to him, and not just to submit to him, to respect him, to honor him, and to even bow before him. They were not the prophet, they were not the dreams, they were not the prophecies, they were not the dreaming of Joseph, they were his results. You remember when they came to see him in Egypt, and he resolved their problem, the problem of hunger for them. He gave them their blessings, he gave them bags of fruits, and he gave them all the things they came for. And when he revealed to them who he was, even before he revealed to them who he was, the results of Joseph was already making them to bow down to him. They were already bowing down to him to worship him. And when he eventually revealed to them who he was, they all fell down and went to bring their father to bow down to him as well. That is the kind of wonders that fruits produce. That's the kind of wonders that fruit produce. You can force your critics to bow down to you. You can force your critics to worship at your feet. You can force your critics to submit themselves to you, to eat their words, to take their words back, and to even be following you and serving you at the end of the day. That is what has happened to the children, to the brothers of Joseph. They were the same people who wanted to kill him. They were the same people actually who sold him to slavery. But that is because he was not having the results yet. But once the results came out, the results and fruits have a way of converting the critics. Results and fruit have a way of converting the doubters. Results and critics have a way of silencing the critics. The results and fruits have a way of making your enemies shut up their mouth. So that is a wonderful example, because especially, when it comes to the Asian culture, the elders are not supposed to bow down to the younger people. the parents are also not supposed to be bowing down to their sons or to their children. But results can do wonders. Result can do wonders. And the result actually, made the difference. Result made the difference in the life of this man. The result made the difference in the life of Joseph. So that's the thing. The same way we can do. We can cause our results to shut up the mouth of our enemies. We can cause our results to make our enemies to bow down to us. We can we can also cause the mouth of our critics to be silenced just because of the result that we have. So I see that some of you have been distracted by one Travis, but I'm going to shut him down. I'm going to block him. So I've just blocked him. So don't be distracted by anybody, and just let's focus on what we're doing. Let's focus on the message right now. Okay, let me give you the example, some other points to buttress my point. You remember David. David is another example of how results silence the mouth of critics. You remember when that's a funny one. When David came back, he was always not respected in his family. You remember when even his father was supposed to present all the brothers. The father didn't even his own father didn't even remember him. They have forgotten about him. He was so insignificant. He was not respected. It was, people didn't respect him. So he was just forgotten. Can you imagine for you to be so insignificant that they told your father to bring all his sons or all his children that they don't even remember you are one of them? That is the height of despise, of being despised, of prejudice. And it was totally despised and not honored or respected. Then we see another proof of David being despised when he was asked to. The only thing he was doing was to be a messenger or somebody that is being sent to carry message, and so he was being sent to carry message to his brothers, to carry food to his brothers. And when he got there, instead of his brothers to acknowledge him and to thank him and to, respect him and honor him and appreciate the thing he has done by bringing food to them, they started attacking him immediately. They started telling him that, well, why are you talking? Why are you, putting your mouth or your eyes in the things that don't concern you? Are you asking about this Goliath? Well, you will know that you are always stubborn. You always have your own opinion. They started attacking him because they didn't respect him. But what happened soon afterwards? David knew what to do. David knew exactly what to do. And he knows that what to do, the only thing to do is to use his results to silence the mouth of his critics. Even the king doubted him. Even the king doubted doubted David. Saul doubted David. And all the army doubted him. Can you imagine when you are fighting with so much doubt? When you are fighting with so much criticism? When everybody is against you like that? But, David knew what to do. He just went ahead and produced results. He just went ahead and produced fruits. He went ahead and killed Goliath. And thank God for that result that he produced. Even the king started, honoring him. Even the people started singing about him. The army started worshiping him. And the whole country started celebrating him. You can cause your enemies and your critics to begin to celebrate you. And the way to do that is to begin to produce more results. Begin to produce more results than you produced before. So from the life of Joseph, from the life of David, from the life of Jesus, you can see the same remedy works. The same cure works. The way to silence your critics is not to be fighting them back. The way to silence your critics is not to be attacking them back. the way to silence your critics is not to, make things personal. The way to silence your critics is not to be responding to them. The way to silence your critics is not to go and be, making them hate you or for you to hate them. The way to silence your critics is to keep on doing what you are doing and to begin to produce more and more results. It doesn't matter if they like your results or they don't like your results. Just face what God has asked you to do and begin and continue to produce more fruits, produce more results. And fruits know how to silence the critic's mouth. So let me give you some points about this subject today. Let me give you some more concrete points about how to silence the mouth of your critics. 1. Results or success is the only thing that will cause your enemies or people or your critics or your doubters to change their opinion. You can only cause your critics or doubters to change their opinions through your results. It is only result. It is not argument that will cause them to change their opinion about you. It is not hating them that will change their opinion about you. It is not getting angry that will cause them to change their opinion about you. It is your results. So don't ever get angry with people. Don't ever, make people to get you mad. Don't ever allow people to control your emotions. Don't ever allow people to manipulate your feelings. Don't ever allow people to be making you angry or frustrated or mad. Don't become, whatever you call it, a playground in the hands of your critics. Don't let your critics fool you and manipulate you and play with your emotions any way they want. Just hear what they're saying, and go ahead and go and face your job more and begin to work harder than you ever worked before and produce more results. It is the only thing that can change your critics' opinion about you, and not just critics. Its results are the only thing that can change even people's opinion about you. Can you imagine that in this country, Ukraine, up till now, there are still people like that, but they are getting less and less. When I started our church, and my name began to become a household name in this place, the nationalists were coming to even surround my building. They will come and demonstrate, bring placards and slogans saying, people should stop, because these were mainly white Europeans and Ukrainians and Russians that are coming to our church. So they think it's a disgrace for white people to be led by a black man, that all these thousands of people are being led by one black guy. So they will come and begin to discourage people from coming to our church. They will come and surround our building and say, let the Negro go back to his country. This is a nigger, and this is this monkey that has just descended from the tree. Even the bishop, the archbishop of the country, said, he went to the newspaper and television and said that this is a disgrace that somebody who had just come down from trees 200 years ago now is teaching us how to believe in God. I mean, it's like a disgrace to the people here that a black man is teaching us and trying to make you teach you how to live. So in fact, some people will go on TV and say that, if you're a black man, the only thing you could do is to go play basketball or play football or play, go and entertain us. You can only entertain us. You cannot teach us how to live. Who are you to begin to teach us how to live? I mean, what do you think about yourself? If you are going to play some soccer or to play some music, okay, we are going to come and listen to you. But to begin to say we are living wrong and begin to teach us how to live, what do you mean? Are you in your right mind? But thank God that, by the time we began to produce more results, and that at the point it was not only just ordinary people and crowd coming to us, but it got a point that 34% of the whole parliament of Kiev, not the national parliament, but the city parliament, the capital of the city, 34% of the parliament were people coming from our church, or that from the political party that came out of our church. And it even got worse. The governor of the mayor of the capital city, became a member of our church as well. So when your head, the political head, the mayor of the whole city, and you are a citizen of this, and you are criticizing, and your mayor is a member of that church, it becomes more and more difficult to criticize. So that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying, that you will always have critics. You will always have people coming up with different stories about you. You will always have people who want to smear your name. But just keep on doing what you need to do. But if you begin to get annoyed and hate people, you will be violating the covenant of love. You will be violating the covenant of love, and you will be doing yourself a disservice. And God will not be happy with you, because you are going to be like them. You are going to be sinning, because you are going to be you are not going to be walking in love. But for you not to come out of the commandment of love, for you not to be hating people or getting angry at people, just hear what they are saying. Don't think about it. Don't bother yourself about it. Just go back to your work and go and be doing your work more. In this country that we live in, every 3 minutes there's a news coming out about Pastor Sunday. And most of those news, you think they are positive news? No, nobody wants to write about the good things you are doing. Good things you are doing is not sensation. Good things you are doing is not news. It doesn't make people sell newspapers. It doesn't make people come to it doesn't draw traffic. What draws traffic are bad news, are bad things. So the only way, what you are supposed to do is not to be replying them and be putting, pulling the bed sheet, or the blanket there and here. The only way to do it is for you to just, keep on doing what you are doing, to intensify your work and produce more results. That is the only thing that can change people's opinion about you. Not argument, not hatred, just results. Now, next point I would like to make to you is success, results are the only things that you can use to render any kind of prejudice against you helpless. Or all the critics, you can render your critics helpless. You can render your your attackers helpless just through your results and fruits. So success is the antidote to prejudice. Your result is the only antidote you have against prejudice and against you. There are, in this country that I live also, there is a lot of prejudice against black men. For example, I've been hearing all my life that white people will never follow black men. You know what? I sit down and argue with anybody about that. But I've just produced the result. Today, in this country at least, even all over the world, it's difficult for you to know the result of my life and ministry, and for you to say black men cannot lead white men anymore. Because in our church, we have 99.9% white people, 99, and not just 10 people or 20 people, thousands, 99% of white Europeans, and the leader is Pastor Sunday. And we have less than 100 people in our church. And all over Ukraine, we have over 25,000 people in the church. And less than 100 people who are black. Less than 100 blacks. And the rest of the people, over 20,000 people, are white. And the leader is Pastor Sunday, is a black man. So prejudice, the only cure, the only antidote against prejudice is result. The only antidote against prejudice. People say you are black, you can produce results. People say you cannot do it in America, produce results. People say you cannot do it in Western Europe, produce results. For example, people are telling me, in Western Europe, in London, the method you are using will not work because there is social warfare is so developed here. And, you have used, ministering to the poor to resolve the problem in Ukraine. It will not work in the West. Well, go and find Pastor Debo. He came here to learn how we did it, and he's using the same principle of welfare, taking care of, poor and down and out and the homeless in London, and his church doubled. And it doubled by white people. he has his first service is only white people going there because he has seen and using the same method and the same principle that we have used here. I just tell them, go and see his church. Go see my disciples' church in London. Go see my disciples' church in Germany. Go see my disciples' church in America. You see that they have the same result. White Europeans also following them in those countries. Why? Because they use the same principle that I've taught them. Because the results will destroy any prejudice. Result will destroy any stories that people have said against you. The only way and the only thing that can silence your critics' mouth is result. Results render prejudices and helpless. Result renders prejudices helpless. Well, another point I want to make is that your results and success, your fruits, will open doors for you, no matter who you are or how people look at you. No, people could say you are not handsome or you are not beautiful. I tell my people here in this church, look at my mouth. Some of you are saying, oh, I'm a Jew, I have big mouth or big nose. I said, what will you say about me, African? In this Europe that we are in, people laugh about people who have either some, people have complexes. They say, oh, my mouth is, some people even say their breast is small or their breast is big, or some people say their mouth is big or their lips are big or their nose. I said, what will you say about black man? It doesn't matter what is big. Are you short or you are tall or you are thin or you are fat or you are ugly or you are handsome? It doesn't matter how you look. Once you begin to have results, once you are a millionaire or billionaire, you will find any wife you want. You will find any follower you want. You will employ any handsome person you want. You just produce results. I know people who are not handsome, who are not beautiful, but because they have money, everybody wants to be around them. Because they have results, they command the respect of everybody. Everybody rather, even those ones who are handsome, and those ones who are beautiful, and those ones who are great, and those ones who are tall or slim, all of them go to bow down to them. And they all rather go to worship, to follow them. So don't pay too much attention to how you look. Don't pay too much attention to where you are discouraged. Don't pay too much attention to where you are disadvantaged. Stop talking about your disadvantage. Stop talking about where you are disadvantaged. Stop talking about what you lack. Stop talking about what you have that is not great. For example, when I was in school, you know what they used to call me? They used to call me root. That is the root of cassava root, or tuber, the tuber of yam tuber, or cassava tuber, a thick root. Because I was so short and thick. So I was the second shortest person in the school. Everybody was used to think, oh my God, I used to think that was a problem. But today, I don't even remember that. Those people used to laugh at me and said I was short root tuber and all that. Now they are bragging and they are saying, thank God we used to know him, we went to the same school together. Their greatest honor today is that they know him, that we used to be in the same school. It doesn't matter you are handsome or you are not handsome. Stop repeating what people say against you. Stop repeating all the bad news against yourself. Stop repeating the negative things that the people have attached to you. You are a human being. That's what matters. You are made in God's image. That's what matters. You carry God's, likeness. That is what matters. God is in you. That is what matters. Believe in yourself. Believe in the nature of God in you. Believe that you carry the nature of God. Believe in the gifts of God upon your life. Believe in the anointing and the calling of God upon your life. And go and use all that to produce results. Once you begin to produce results, even if you are just 1 meter tall, you will be employing people who are 2 meters tall. So don't be repeating all the negative things people say about you. Don't be repeating all the negative things about yourself. Don't begin to be depressed because you lack something, or you are not handsome, or you are not beautiful, or people believe that there are some things that that is not okay about you. That is what people think. What matters is what God thinks about you. But if you want to change what people think about you, stop getting annoyed. Stop getting mad. Stop trying to defend yourself. Just produce results. Just produce fruits. Just become successful. Once you are having the result, once you have the fruit, they themselves who are saying you are this and that, they will now do like Joseph to you. They will come and worship you. You remember the situation with Paul, when Paul got to a certain city and a snake came out and rolled against his body, and everybody said, "Oh, he's demon possessed. He's from the enemy. He's what? He's coming from." They wanted to kill him. That is, God is against him. God is punishing him. That is why the sheep wrecked. And you see, the snake is going to kill him now. He will soon die. They had rejected him. Maybe you're also an outcast in your society. Maybe you're an outcast where you are. Maybe people don't respect you where you are. Maybe people are, commonizing you and humiliating you and talk down at you. And people don't respect and they don't honor you. And people, for whatever reason it might be. Or maybe you have even failed before. Maybe you fell into sin. Maybe you failed. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Even if you failed, get up and keep on doing what you need to do. Face your job. Face what God has called you to do. Gather yourself together. Face your job. Work hard. And you know what happened? Those same people that were cursing Paul and calling him different names and saying that he was an outcast, God forgotten, and that God is against him, and that God has caused him. They began to honor him and even call him a god now. They were ready to worship him and give him and the assailants, another name and say they are God. They are now God. They were ready to worship him. You know why? Because they saw that he didn't die from that snake, and that snake didn't kill him, and that snake rather was the one he produced result. And because of the result that he produced, everybody's mind changed concerning him. Another point that I want to make. People become blind to your weaknesses, to your failures. People become blind to your, to your weaknesses, to your failure. They become blind to your color. They become blind to how your face looks. They become blind to your sex. Are you a man or a woman? They become blind to anything, all those things that you think, to your complexes. They become blind to all those things you are worried about. People become blind to all your weaknesses, all your disadvantages once you produce results. Believe me. People will become blind very fast. Today they are saying you are this, you are that, you are a few other. But once you bring them $10,000 or $100,000 and say, okay, this is for you, I give you this. Or what do you need? You need employment, come and I give you the job. They will go from saying you are bad or you are worse to bowing down at your feet. So, hey, don't make a big deal of all the bad things people say about you. Don't make a big deal of what the people write about you. Don't make a big deal of what your critics are saying about you. Don't make a big deal of the lies people tell against you. Some people get so mad and say, oh, but it's not true. But it's a lie now, but it's not true. Look. Produce fruits that will prove the truth. Produce fruits that will prove the truth. Produce fruits that will prove the real truth. And those truths will tell you better stories than your anger and your frustration and your arguments. Just produce the truth that will tell you the opposite result, the opposite whatever. The opposite story. There is a man in Nigeria. I come from Nigeria. They call him TB Joshua. And everybody in Nigeria believes that this man is occultic. And I think maybe he is. I don't know him, but, I have not met him. He has some strange doctrines, really, and some strange things. But I don't know, but, but people believe, even my friends and big men of God in Nigeria, they say, don't even have anything to do with that man. Well, I don't care. But what I've discovered is that man, TB Joshua, has now become the most popular preacher in Nigeria. And he has become the most popular outside of Nigeria. Everywhere I go, anybody who sees me, they want to ask about TB Joshua. no matter how much negative things we talk about against this TB Joshua guy, everybody still want to know about him. Everybody is still talking about him. You know the reason why everybody is still talking? In fact, they even say, the government of Lagos says that man brings more tourists to their state than any ministry, than any. They even say it brings more tourists to Nigeria. Nigeria makes more money from him alone than from all other churches in the country. Why? Because he's having results. So even now, there are some footballers in the national team, or there are people, journalists, there are politicians, there are even head of state who are going to that TB Joshua place just because of results. Just because of results. And the ones that are good, the ones that we all respect, the ones that we all honor, the ones that we all say they are the good ones, the people are not honoring them, people are not following them like they are following TB Joshua. Because that TB Joshua has results. Now, this is not to, to justify or to authenticate, the position or doctrine of TB Joshua. I'm just using it as an illustration, as an example that results have a way. There's nothing that anybody can do against the word of Jesus. And Jesus has said, by their fruit you will know them. And that if you produce them, go and tell John what you have seen and what you have witnessed, the results. Go and show John the results. If you show John the results, if you tell him what you have seen, he will keep quiet. And you know what happened? He indeed kept quiet. Results will silence the mouth of your critics. Well, I think I've said enough. I think I've said enough. Or let me just say a few more things. To just encourage you, my friends. Strive for success, even though your conditions and your circumstances are not favorable. Stop complaining about, your country, your politics, your politicians. Go and produce results. Even in that same country, with that same politician, you have another attitude, another response. Everything will change around you. Strive for success. Strive for results. Strive for fruits. And your conditions will not matter anymore. Your country, your environment will not matter. Next one, strive for results. Produce fruit. Do everything to produce more result, even when you don't have much. Even when you think that what you have is too small. Even when you think that you have too little. Do something with that little. Use that little to produce more result. And then it will not matter what you started with. It will not matter what you started with. Nobody will remember that you used to have little. Just like I used to come from a village of 40 houses. Just like I never used to have shoes. Nobody cares anymore because they see the results. Now, next one. Strive for results and for fruit and for success. Instead of just hoping that one day something will change. Tomorrow never comes. One day never comes. Go and get to work. Go and begin to do something concrete to produce results. Then only will something change. Then only will people's opinion about you change. Well, I'm sorry, I've spoken too much today. Let me just write some of the things people are writing. Gomel, Jesus Kumar says, God bless you. Terry says, strive for success. You know what? Let's go and share this message if you don't mind. I'm going to be reading the comments that are here. While I do that, please go ahead and share the message, okay? Let's go ahead and share this message. It might be a blessing to somebody. Who knows? It could be a blessing to somebody. Terry says, strive for success. What a word, Pastor. Kenneth Amobi says, critics are one of the weapons that pushes an individual to fruitfulness if you are of a mature mind. Yes. Bebe says, Pastor Sunday, please pray for me. I have an appointment on Tuesday. Yes, I agree with you for success in that appointment in Jesus' name. Unhime says, signs, results, testimonies is a noisemaker. Namron Pinson says, don't abase yourself. Be content and thankful to what we have. Matthew Oyeneye says, nobody argues with results. That is so true. Niyi says, results silences the enemy. Thank you, mentor. Thank you too. David says, blessed. Gracia says, keep quiet and pray for those who criticize you and bless those people. Right. Tokumbo says, this is great news, Pastor. Katerina Adamolekun says, thank you, Pastor. I love you. Thank you. Spasiba to be Bashoe Katia. Spasiba. Lublu tak się obnimają. Tokumbo says, never mind, Pastor. Okay. Joshua says, greetings, blessings to you too. Fumilayo says, yes, Pastor, when I hear someone use the word ugly on people's look, it hurt me so much because God never created anybody ugly. You are right. Alex Cooper says, Pastor, you are right. Shegun Fatuma says, only a fool house proves. Yes. Agbemi Sola, greetings. Nkiru says, this is yes. Amen. Greetings. Gracia says, yes. Adu Solomon says, yes. Bebe also agrees. Kenneth says, my pastor, when they criticize our Lord Jesus Christ, who are we? If they criticize our Lord Jesus Christ, who are we then? They will criticize us too. Bakru says, the gospel is not about prosperity. Yes. Who else is there? Fleur says, amen. Keep on working for results. Stay concentrated. Only do the job to bring solutions in all area of your life. Yes. Nkiru says, oh, okay. Nkiru is just replying that, Travis. No, don't waste your time replying them. Just go ahead and produce results. Faith says, I cannot wait for you to talk about the 5 things you focus on daily. Oh my God. I don't know when that will happen. I will just have to follow my plan. Otherwise, I will be distracted. Tevita says, Daddy says, it's important to hear what critics say so that you could go ahead and produce results. Tevita said to pray for Henry, 88 years old, for his knees. I pray for that knee. I pray for healing for that Henry in Jesus' name. Maria Martinez says, yes, you are in your right. Oh, yeah, God, he says, we know what God knew what he was doing. He has given you so much wisdom. Okay, who is this? Obadiah said there is a newspaper in Zimbabwe, or there is a Zimbabwean that wrote something negative about me. Oh, I know about the negative things about me they've written, and it's going, everybody is talking about it, and everybody is copying it. But you don't worry, just produce results. I'm doing well in my family, everything is okay. My wife, my family, the church, everything is, just forget about what people are saying. Just produce results. Faith says result is the only thing that can change people's opinion about you. I listen to you, Pastor, because your results speak louder than many preachers. God is truly with you. Thank you. You see, that's it. Doesn't matter what any journalist say. What your result you produce is what people will believe at the end of the day. Abba Sunday says, I love your courage, sir. Thank you. Adetumbi says, criticism is our mentor. Criticism is our mentor. Okay. Shadrach says, results are the weapon that silence the critics. That's so true. Ezekiah Kitude says, thank you, sir. Moses Obasi says, I was about going to minister in a church here in Ghana when you came online, but your message held me back in my hotel. This is a right message I want to hear now. Moses, thank you. Evangelist Henry says, sensational words of wisdom. Bingpe Sally says, results, that's all you needed. Ewa says, the way to silence the critics is to keep generating visible positive results. Daddy Daniel said, this is good and it's for real. Faith says, by facing what God asks you to do and producing results, you will shut down your critics. Yes. Stanley Okoro said, keep doing what you are doing. Much grace, sir. Adetumbi says, results and fruit silences your critics. Yes. Well. Glenda says, no fight with our critics. Our results in life keep them in silence. Good preaching, Pastor. Thank you. Damilare says, more grace, more. I want a word from you, sir. Well, you got the word today. You just got the word. Faith says, by applying all the information that Pastor Sunday has been preaching or teaching in the past 3 weeks alone, that application of that information can silence any critics. I'm starting to see the result in my life already. Thank you, Faith. Manalu says, thank you from Indonesia. Well. Gracious says, when are you coming to join us in Nigeria? About criticism, if in life nobody criticizes you, that means you are not doing well or person is dead. Personally, yeah, that is so true. When am I coming to Nigeria? I think before the end of this year I might be in Nigeria, but latest by next year. So, yeah, so, many things to read, but the time is over now. And Nkiru says, I have to listen and listen and listen again to this teaching and start acting. Yes, Nkiru. So I want you, please, to go ahead and share this message. Let's go ahead and share the message. Let's go ahead and share the message. It might be a blessing to someone else. Someone is saying, your grace is enough for me, that I want to be in touch with you. I've always given my contact. My contact is pastor@godembassy.org. Pastor@godembassy.org. And you can write me or go to my blog at sundaydelijablog.com and join my mentorship program, and also subscribe for the newsletter. Oh, Obi is making himself known here now. Pastor Obi Ojibadu is here. Good morning, Pastor. People who love criticizing other people's work should rather go and do their own work. They should go and do better work or keep quiet. It's true. Where is their own result? Success from Arkham also. Thank you so much. Anyway, well, it's nice being with you. I'll be back in the evening to review this, and see you tonight. God bless you, everybody. Bye.